OpenAI less than 5 days after he was pushed out in one of the world's most high-profile dust-ups at a company that really is at the heart of the future of artificial intelligence. For a look at this story, we've got Bruce Croxon, co-founder of Round 13 Capital, and Eric Jackson still with us on the desk. And Eric, you spent a long time in Silicon Valley. You know a lot of these players. What was it like for you watching all of this unfold, and your ultimate thoughts on the conclusion that I guess we're back, Sam Altman's back?
Well, I think it was bizarre. It's a great, I can't recall, the past 5 days or whatever it's been of just constant ups and downs and more questions than answers. Even with this resolution of Sam going back to OpenAI, I think there's way more questions. And probably that's a healthy thing in the long run, to better understand what's going on at not just OpenAI, but at Microsoft, at Anthropic, all these AI companies. What's happening from a governance perspective? Why did this board oust him in the first place? We still don't know. We should know. How are these companies going to be structured going forward? Even though Sam's gotten a lot of love, and now he's back where I guess he wants to be. There were all these questions about, was he doing stuff on the side? What was that? What were they pushing for? Like in terms of these two camps, apparently, of the folks wanting to go faster and the ones that were effective altruists who apparently wanted to go slower. So it's just, I think there needs to be some clarity, and we can't just turn the page and say it's over now because he's back.
Well, I think you're getting to the heart of it, Eric. This is, it's fascinating to watch if this was a TV show, like Succession or something. But it's about a technology where many people who have invented it said it could lead to the ultimate demise of humanity. And Bruce, when you think about how this is all shaken out, I mean, that tension between his OpenAI not-for-profit, is OpenAI for-profit. I think with Altman's return, I mean, that they're going to try and make money, right? Obviously, and that's who the hands of this technology is going into, the product people.
Yeah, listen, I hadn't heard other rumors about whether he had stuff on the side or what have you, but to me, in the absence of that, and Eric might be onto something that I'm not aware of, but in the absence of that, it's pretty simple. Like, you've got a not-for-profit managing a for-profit with some of the largest players in tech land tied closely to the outcome and the fortunes of the for-profit. And I remember one of my board of directors years ago when I was running a technology company, and I tried to, conflate doing good and keeping an eye on social conscience and giving back with making money. He said, you know what, those two things are very, very difficult to do at the same time. Why don't you go make a pile of money and then write a check to your favorite charity, and let's keep the two things separate. So to me, can we finally give up on this notion that, companies that are firmly tied to the stock market and making the next quarter and building shareholder value, we're going to entrust the future of regulation on one of the most powerful technologies that have been invented probably since the nuclear bomb. And it's not a bad analogy, this technology that gets developed that can do massive harm, but it can also do massive good. But you need to separate the way we regulate it from the people that are motivated to drive the share price of their companies.
Understanding what you are, what your purpose is very important. It's key if you're a VC investor, which you are, but also it's a glaring case of where even a company like Microsoft didn't have the governance on-ramps that you would expect, or guardrails that you would expect of a company of that size and scale. Do you think it's in part because there was so much excitement around this technology that governance was like, okay, this is some flowery thing we'll deal with later?
I can't think of an example. Eric may have a different version, but I can't think of an example of something that's moved so quickly, created so much value in such a short period of time. And of course, everybody's euphoric, right? It's a game changer, and I think that's part of it. You had a board that wasn't entirely business focused, that had a dual mandate, and now you can tell the closest they're going to have to keeping an eye on things is the former Secretary Treasurer, Larry Summers, and they're going to need him because the governments now are going to have to take the responsibility to regulate where this technology is going. So, of course, you need someone on the board, Larry Summers in this case, to deal with the government regulators that are going to be coming at them and lobbying his way through to make sure they can continue to scale this company without, as you say, destroying humanity.
Some people, though, Eric, that were part of the ouster, like Mr. D'Angelo, are still remaining on the board, at least for now. How do you think about whether the future of OpenAI, its mission, has been resolved with Altman now back as CEO?
Well, that's still a good question. Why is Adam still on the board? I agree with Bruce. I mean, this was a $90 billion company, private company on paper, and this board looked worse than a condo association board. And so, why do any of those folks get to stay on, including Adam? I mean, so there has to be more thought put into who's running this. I assume that they're going to resolve this nonprofit profit distinction, which I don't understand in the coming days, and I think that's that's a good thing. Let's really make it clear what this company is all about. So there are still some questions. I disagree with Bruce in the sense that I think Microsoft played this perfectly from the beginning. I think that it wasn't a mistake that they never got on this board, and they probably still won't be on this board after this new kind of changeover, because it's basically they'd be in trouble with the regulators. If they tomorrow wanted to acquire OpenAI, it wouldn't happen. It would get squashed. But if the OpenAI blows up the way it looked like it was going to, maybe 24 hours ago, and everybody goes and works for Microsoft, everything's hunky-dory. So, and OpenAI really doesn't have much of a business without Microsoft providing the compute. So, I think they knew exactly what they were signing up for, and they, even though it looks crazy what happened, they were going to win no matter what.
That